Easy kimchi from scratch with homemade chili flake. Hello everyone! Today I'm going to make easy kimchi. But today's video is so special because I made this video for those who cannot get any Korean ingredient. So if you can get this ingredient from any Asian market, you can make the Korean kimchi without Korean ingredient. So actually the most difficult part of without the Korean ingredient is this chili flake. I know Korean chili flake is the best, but for some people it's very hard or almost impossible. So I just got this dried chili. So I'll show you how to make with this dried chili. And in this video, I'll show you how to make kimchi with wet chili too. Ingredient for easy kimchi: Chinese cabbage, green onion, garlic, chili flake, and sea salt. This is essential, but you can add onion, some fish sauce of your choice, gochugaru, Korean chili flake really decide the taste of kimchi, and good pechu, the Chinese cabbage. But for some people, it's very hard to buy or find a good Korean chili flakes. So I will teach you how to use just chili, wet chili, and dried one. To make a good gochugaru, you need a good gochu, chili. Dried one is okay, but try to find a big one like this. This is Chinese dried chili because I found this one, but Korean do not use seed inside. So what I'm trying to say is this one, you just open up in the middle. I'm doing it because I'm only show you the example. You cannot use bare hands. So remove all the seed. But this one is too small to do that. It's really a hassle. So much work to cut each and everything and remove all the seed inside was a very big hassle for me. So if you can find a big one, that's very good. And the wet one also, if you want to use it, just remove the seed inside before you ground it. Okay? Yeah, like this. So if you can find a very big one like this one is much easier to remove the seed inside. But this one looked like a Korean chili, but doesn't have any spicy taste. It's more like a bell pepper. So you have to make sure this one is spicy enough. Okay. So the other day, I already ground this one because it was so hard to remove all the seed. So look at the color with the seed. Yeah, and also this one is a very good Korean chili flake, gochugaru, and this one is this one. This one is too dry to use right away, and that's why gochugaru, Korean chili flake, you have to store in the fridge. Even though you think this one is very dry, if you keep it in the room temperature, it will spoil and decay will have fungus and everything. And this one taste okay, but the color. So if you don't mind the color, you can use this one too. Now using a homemade chili flake like this, has this one. Color is very dark, right? And this is regular gochugaru, Korean one, with a light color. And I don't really use that much, not really spicy. And this one is color is like this. So if you don't really mind the color of it, it's okay. You can use anything you want, okay? Okay, let's go to grind it. See, I think this one is coarse enough to make kimchi, but for other dishes, you can make it more fine. Rinse the cabbage, just rinse it. How to cut cabbage? Remove the top, and also this inside is too small, right? So you can just add, just use it like this. Yeah, oh, this cabbage itself is so small, so actually. But this part is okay like this. So for me, I cut very small from the top, but when you went into this kind of soft part, yeah, just like this. No need to cut it too small because this one will shrink after we salt. So only this one is quite big, so I'll just, yeah. And that's it. I'll use this very fine sea salt because this one salt the cabbage so quick than the so coarse one, okay? But if you don't have sea salt, actually I just use Himalayan rock salt and or any kinds of good salt. So 1 cup for 2 kilos. This kind of easy kimchi is not really good for too much, you know, like more than 3 kilo or more. Yeah, for me it's like that. If you want to make it so much, it's better you make it the whole 포기 kimchi, 김장 kimchi, the whole cabbage kimchi. Okay, so mix it well with the salt. Only 30 minutes. Yeah, every 10 minutes I came and press, and mix again. So only 30 minutes. Okay. While we're waiting for the cabbage to be salted, let's prepare other stuff. If you're really serious about cooking, will you please buy the scale? Because if you never measure, just 1 or 2 stems of green onion, sometimes it's very confusing. Look how different 1 stem. So I will use this amount, and this one is 200. Yeah, 200. In Korean, use so much garlic. When it's so dry, it's very hard to peel off the skin, right? So I always cut here and put it in the water. 30 minutes later, it's well salted. How do you know it's well salted? If you bend, it won't break, and just easily bend it like this hard part. Okay, now let's go to rinse it. Now let's rinse it thoroughly, like 3 times. Let's drain the cabbage for 30 minutes. And if you're in a hurry, you can squeeze off the excess water. From my family, we never use onion, but these days so many people use it. So nowadays, I beginning to use once in a while. Okay, let's add it. Now we are going to grind the garlic, onion, and everything. And so if you're using a wet chili like this, you add it now. So to grind it, so this sauce, quarter cup to let it run so well. And instead of porridge, I decided to use cooked rice, just 1 spoon. The reason I decided to use a cooked rice is I think it's more easier for you to find this ingredient than the rice porridge. Okay. How to cut green onion, scallion? I just cut it like this. Now it's chili flake. This one is very dry than the regular Korean chili flakes, so I will not use so much. Once I remove all the seed and I chopped it a little bit to grind it so easy. 7. And this one, add 1 teaspoon. Unlike Korean chili flake, this one needs so much time to be wet, so I just leave it 5 hours in the room temperature. And here is summer, so it will be a little bit different depending on where you stay. I divided 2 kilo kimchi into 2. 1 kilo will be, I'll start eat from fresh one. So I'll keep in the room temperature only for 5 hours. And before you want to get sour, fermented, I will put it in the fridge. The reason why mild kimchi cannot be fermented outside is it's not salty at all, so it will decay or spoil, and cabbage will be soggy and mush, not crunch at all. So after 5 hours, this fresh kimchi will go into the fridge, and this one, I want to add 3 more tablespoons, so it will be very salty, right? So this one, you cannot eat from when it's fresh. You have to eat when it gets fermented. For my case, like 2 days, yeah, but it really depending on your temperature. So after 1 day, 24 hours later, you keep eat little bit and decide if it is okay. 5 hours later, this mild one is ready to eat. So this mild one is too mild for fermentation, so I will keep it in the fridge and will keep this salty one for 2 days fermentation. Easy kimchi from scratch with homemade chili flake. I shoot this epilogue 2 days after I made kimchi. The first fresh one was so good and not salty and just refreshing. But it was so hard to ferment it because it is not salty enough to ferment it in the room temperature. But if you keep it in the fridge and stay longer, it can be fermented slowly. And for salty one, for me, 2 days in room temperature was so good. So I tasted and I put it in the fridge. And it was so good. For me, this homemade chili flake was very spicy, spicier than the regular Korean chili. So if you want to try my recipe, can you just test with a very small amount, like 500 grams which is a medium cabbage, half of medium cabbage, because the one you will use can be very different from mine. All the chili is very different in spiciness, and also the fish sauce is a little bit different. So you test it with a small amount and you can make it up to the whole cabbage, 2 kilo. And this easy kimchi is not recommended for very big amount, like more than 3 cabbage. In that case, it's better to make a whole cabbage kimchi. That I'll upload soon. I made this video for some Korean food lover all over the world, but for someone, it's very hard to get a Korean ingredient. So I hope you enjoy this video and follow my recipe and happy cooking. Thank you for your support and see you next time. Bye!